The bombing that began the Iraq War in 2003 was preceded by months of political battling on whether to invade Iraq. In a central London conference centre, a 5-person panel is trying to understand the events surrounding Britain's involvement in the war. It is headed by Sir John Chilcot.
The Iraq inquiry was set up to identify the lessons that should be learned from the UK's involvement in Iraq to help future governments who may face similar situations.
The panel carries no legal weight, so it cannot prosecute anyone.
No one's on trial here. We cannot determine guilt or innocence. Only courts can do that. But I make a commitment here that once we get to our final report, we will not shy away from making criticisms.
One thing the inquiry is looking at is a private meeting between then Prime Minister Tony Blair and U.S. President George Bush in April 2002, nearly a year before the war began. No one knows what the two men discussed. Part of Mr. Blair's case to go to war included a dossier that said Iraqi leader Saddam Hussein could launch weapons with 45 minutes notice. That later proved to be wrong. Liberal Democrat Mingus Campbell opposed the war, a member of the only political party to do so.
Well, when you're faced with that confident assertion from the Prime Minister, and you've no access to the intelligence yourself, then it's very difficult to argue against it.
Critics say the panel should include more legal and military expertise so that witnesses can be more accurately cross-examined. Conservative politician Michael Mates has another criticism of the panel.
I'm not sure I'd have put 2 historians on it. We needed some military expertise. We needed some political expertise because so many of the decisions were so highly politicized that it actually takes an insider to be able to make a judgment about it.
The ultimate insider is former Prime Minister Blair. He's expected to testify in early 2010. Advisors and diplomats working with him at the time have offered snapshots of some of the decisions involved. But analysts believe Mr. Blair's testimony will be key to getting a complete picture. Mr. Blair's most strident critics believe he should be tried for war crimes, with 179 Britons and thousands of Iraqis killed in the conflict. Current Prime Minister Gordon Brown headed the Treasury at the time and has also been criticized. But there is optimism among politicians and officials that the inquiry will have a positive outcome.
Future generations of politicians and soldiers and sailors and airmen who will benefit because lessons will be learned. What not to do, what was done that was wrong. But I think most of all it may provide closure for some of the families of those who lost their lives in the Iraq conflict.
This is Britain's most wide-ranging inquiry into the Iraq War. It includes not only the decision to invade, but the country's actions while there and its withdrawal. The inquiry's ultimate legacy may be about restoring trust between a government and its people. Jennifer Glasse for VOA News, London.